Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel today. I'm Kevin, and today we're back to our First World War topic. In our last topic, yesterday, we talked about the trauma and trials that the soldiers has to gone through in the First World War. But today, we are going to talk about another side of soldiers. That is the woman in uniform. Yeah, so we once heard about the woman who used their strength, their time to work in hospital in the back front so that they could keep the country going better and make the economy safe, which means they are already have a task, a mission that to keep the soldiers' homeland growing and developing even when the men are not there. But now, at the at the middle time of the war, when everything got worse, many soldiers were died that the main amount, the number of soldiers is not enough to keep fighting regularly. So the countries at that time decided to take their women into the military. So it was not only on the home front that women played a vital part in the war. From the start of the conflict, they already volunteered their service in hospital, nursing sick and wounded soldiers. Some got even closer to the front line by driving ambulance and stretcher bearers, providing immediate medical care on the front line. But as the war getting worse and went on, women were also called upon to join the uniformed ranks of the armed force too. Most work behind the front line, but a few still decide to fight on the battle. So we must talk about the next step of the back front woman worker. I mean like at first, women just go and stay at the back front so that they could keep their countries going on and making money to keep the economy steady. But after that, when there's casualties, most hospitals were safe behind the front line and working at the at the back front. But sometimes there is too many soldiers who are wounded that they cannot be delivered or bring back to the back front so easily. So some women after the first time of the war, decided to go to the battlefield hospital so that they could take care of the wounded soldiers and of course make their trauma gone, or you could say that comfort them. Alright, so every day nurse had to cope and deal with the harrowing sight of dead and mauled bodies, and to give the traumatized patient comfort and reassurance, as well as medical treatment that the nurse can. And closer to the fighting, there are many women who drive ambulance and doing the work of the benchers bearer, so that they bring the wounded soldiers from the battlefield back to the back front or to the hospital on the military side. One of the most famous nurses of the First World War was a British woman named Edith Cavell. She worked in a Red Cross hospital in German-occupied Brussels. Also, she treated refugees and soldiers of all nationalities on the German side. But still, she also secretly helped hundreds of Allied soldiers in her care to escape the German hands. And when the German government know this, they decide to punish her by execute her with their firing squad. Our armed force relied on the support of large numbers of non-combat staff back then. So after the time that women come to hospital, now they have to take more place, doing more job, not just about nursing or doing work in hospital. Now they have to taking work like cooks, clerks, engineer, and telephone operators, or even dispatch riders. By the time of 1917, Many of the men performing these tasks were need to make up the number of casualties during the war, so women were encouraged to take their place. And most countries tried to protect the woman from the danger battle back then. But of course, when the war went on and the casualties too much, some countries decided to call up their women to join the war. One of them was a British woman named Flora Sanders. She had gone to Serbia as a nurse, but took up the armed force and joined into the military after the war. After her country was invaded. And in Russia and Germany, a few women were so eager to fight. They want to fight belong their family, their husband, their friend, and of course they even pretend to be men so that they could join into the military. And there is once an event that women create their own teams on the military. So by the mid of 1917, the Russian army was in crisis as the casualties broke out and there are too many missing points that there are not enough soldiers to replace for the casualties. And of course, a woman named Maria Pokareva persuaded the government to let her set up a woman unit, the so-called Battalion of Death. This battalion does not just replace the casualties, but it's also to shame the men into fighting again, because at that time there are so many men that decide to desert their rank, and of course the desertion and the casualties together make a mix of chaos and lack of soldiers in Russia. And of course this is the party to shame the men into fighting, and this is a strong battalion with 2,000 women, and it was involved in heavy fighting. But yeah, we both know that women just have courage. Sometimes they can do something, but in military it's a little bit hard for a woman to gain their skills unless they are a genius, or they are very good at fighting, or they are an experienced hunter. But of course, when women are just civilians, citizens, and they are joining the military to shame the men to joining the fight, they don't really have the strength and skills to get into heavy fighting. And because of this, after 3 months, the 2,000 woman battalion only have 250 left. Alright? So that's all I want to talk with you guys today about how did women join the military and even go to the front line to fight for their countries, and what is the result of some of them. So that's all I want to talk with you guys today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And now I think it's time for say goodbye then. See ya.